You ever notice how rainbows always seem to appear just when you're in the middle of something else? Like you're walking your dog or sipping tea, and suddenly, there it is, like a secret only the sky knows. They're like a trick of the light, right? A little bit of physics, a little bit of magic. But have you ever wondered if there's more to them than just water and sunlight? You know, I've heard stories about rainbows that don't just appear in the sky. Some say they show up in places where something unnatural happened. Like a place where a secret was buried, or a wish was made, or a life was lost. So today, we're not just talking about how rainbows are made. We're talking about the places where they've been seen in ways that don't quite fit the science. And maybe, just maybe, they're not just light and water at all. You ever wonder, really wonder, what it would take to make a rainbow that doesn't just fade away? What if it stayed? What if it was waiting for you? Come on, let's take a walk. Let's see what the world has to say about how you actually make a rainbow. So what exactly are we talking about? Let me ask you, have you ever looked at a rainbow and wondered, how in the world does that even happen? It's like magic, but with a little science. You know, a rainbow isn't just some random splash of color. It's a phenomenon that happens when sunlight meets raindrops at just the right angle. It's like nature's own prism, bending light into a spectrum. And yet, for all its science, there's something poetic about it. It's like a message from the sky, a reminder that even in the grayest days, there's color to be found. So, if you ever find yourself staring at a rainbow and wondering how it's made, remember this. It's not just light and water. It's a story, a phenomenon, and a little bit of wonder. You think you know what a rainbow is? You've seen them, right? But have you ever really asked yourself, why do they even exist? It's not just pretty colors in the sky. It's a secret, ancient truth about light and water and how the world works. Rainbows aren't just for kids. They're a sign, a message from the natural world. Some say they are a promise from the sky, a promise that the rain will stop, that the sun will return, that the world is still alive and breathing. But here's the thing, rainbows don't just happen. They're made. They're created by the way light bends and reflects. And if you think about it, that's kind of like magic. The sky, the sun, the water, they all have to align perfectly for a rainbow to appear. It's like the universe is playing a game of hide and seek. So why should you care? Because rainbows are more than just a pretty trick of the light. They are a reminder of how fragile and fleeting beauty can be. And if you've ever stood under a rainbow and felt that strange, quiet wonder, you know it's something that can't be explained. It just is asterisk. And that's why, deep down, you should secretly care. Because even if you don't believe in ghosts or haunted places, you do believe in the magic of a rainbow. You know it when you see it. And that's enough. You ever wonder how the rainbow got its start? Let's go back to the dawn of time, when the world was still learning to shine. Ancient people saw rainbows as omens, signs from the gods, some a blessing, others a warning of coming storms. In the 1600, Newton finally figured out that rainbows are just light bending through water droplets, but he still called them optical illusions. Then came the 19th century, and scientists started to see rainbows as a natural phenomenon, not a divine message. But even now, some cultures still believe rainbows are bridges between worlds, or the path to the afterlife. So imagine you're holding a glass of water, and the sun is shining through the window just right. You look at the glass and see colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. That's a rainbow, but it's not real. It's just light bending through the water. Now think about a garden hose. When you spray water into the air, sometimes you see a rainbow in the mist. It's like the sky is painting the water with colors. But it's not the water making the rainbow, it's the light. But here's the kicker. You can't actually make a rainbow with your hands. You can only make it appear. It's like trying to catch a shadow. It's there, but you can't hold it. You just have to know where to look. So how do you make a rainbow? You don't. You just have to be in the right place at the right time and let the light do the work. It's a trick of nature, a little magic, and a lot of science. And if you're lucky, you'll see it. So you want to make a rainbow? Well, first things first, you need a source of light. Not just any light, mind you, like the kind that comes from the sun, or maybe a bright lamp if you're feeling ambitious. Now that light has to hit something. Water droplets, ideally. Tiny ones, like the kind you might find in a misty morning or a sprinkler in the backyard. They're the real magic makers of rainbows. And here's the fun part. Each color bends at a slightly different angle. That's why you see the colors in order, like a rainbow painting in the sky. It's all about the science of light and water. But don't worry, it's not magic. It's just the way light plays with water and angles. Still, there's something poetic about it, isn't there? Like nature's own canvas. So the first step is just getting the setup right. Light, water, and a little patience. Because rainbows don't just appear, they're made one droplet at a time. So you've got the sunlight, the water, and the air. Now, you need a prism. It's like a magic crystal that bends the light just right, splitting it into its rainbow colors. It's not just any glass, it's gotta be the right shape and the right material. The prism works because it slows down the light as it enters and speeds it up as it exits. This bending, or refraction, is what separates the colors. Each color bends a little differently, so they spread out into the rainbow. But here's the thing, you have to get the angle just right. If the light hits the prism too directly or too sharply, it won't split properly. It's a delicate balance, like trying to catch a rainbow in a net. And if you're not careful, the colors can overlap or blur. It's like trying to paint with light, every detail matters. You have to be patient, and you have to believe in the magic of the rainbow. So there you have it, step 2. The mechanism. A prism, a beam of light, and the magic of refraction. It's not just science, it's art. And now, you're one step closer to making your very own rainbow. So you've got the light, you've got the water, and now you need a little trick to make that magic happen. You see, it's not just about the light hitting the water. It's about the angle, the way the light bends just right to split into colors. The real secret is the prism, like a glass triangle that bends the light into its 7 colors. But here's the twist. Sometimes nature does the work itself. Raindrops act like tiny prisms, bending the light and creating the rainbow you see. So how do you actually make a rainbow? You start with light, you add water, and you let nature do the rest. It's all about the angle, the way the light bends, and the way the colors spread out like a painter's palette. And there you have it. A rainbow isn't just a pretty sight. It's a scientific marvel, a natural phenomenon, and a reminder that even in the simplest moments, there's a little bit of magic. You ever look at a rainbow and think, that's just light and water, right? Well, it's not just light and water. It's light, water, and a whole lot of angles. Raindrops act like prisms, splitting white light into all the colors of the spectrum. But they don't just split it, they bend it, like a magic lens in the sky. The colors don't just appear, they're there, waiting for the right conditions. Like a shy dancer stepping into the spotlight, only when the light hits just right. And here's the kicker, the rainbow doesn't exist where you see it. It's actually behind the rain, a ghostly arc that only you can see because you're standing at the right spot. So next time you see a rainbow, remember, it's not just a pretty trick of light. It's a whole universe of science, waiting to be admired. So imagine if you could take a prism and hold it up to the sun, like a magician's trick. The light bends, splits, and dances into colors, just like a rainbow. It's not magic, it's physics, but it feels like a miracle. But here's the thing, you don't need a prism to see a rainbow. You just need water and sunlight, like when you're standing in a puddle after a rainstorm and the sun peeks through the clouds. It's nature's own rainbow maker. It's all about angles. The light hits the water droplets at just the right angle, and then it bends, splits, and reflects back to your eyes. It's a dance of light and water, a perfect balance of science and wonder. So, in the end, making a rainbow isn't about magic or mystery. It's about light, water, and the way the world bends to show you something beautiful. It's like a ghost story, but with science instead of spirits. You think you know what a rainbow looks like, don't you? But have you ever stopped to think about the part that sounds made up but isn't? It's the way it bends the light, like a secret whispered through the sky. It's not just light and water, it's angles and timing and a whole lot of luck. The sun has to be just right, the water just right, and the viewer just right too. It's like a dance between the earth and the sky. And here's the thing, you can't force a rainbow. You can't chase it or capture it. It's fleeting, like a memory or a dream. It shows up when you least expect it and disappears just as fast. So next time you see one, don't just look at it. Let it remind you that the world is full of wonders, even the ones that seem to defy logic. And maybe, just maybe, it's trying to tell you something. So there's this old myth that if you can make a rainbow, you can make a wish come true. But let me tell you, my dear friends, that's not exactly how it works. It's more like a magic trick than a wish. You see, rainbows are made by light and water, not by magic or wishes. They're like nature's own prism, splitting sunlight into colors. But if you really think about it, they're kind of like a message from the sky. And here's the kicker: rainbows don't last forever. They're fleeting, like a moment of beauty that slips away. So if you're hoping to make a wish, you might want to focus on something more permanent. But let's not forget, my friends, that some of the oldest myths are the ones that stick around. They're like ghosts, lingering in our minds even when we know they're not true. So next time you see a rainbow, take a moment to appreciate it. It's not a wish, but it's still something to be grateful for. And if you're feeling lucky, maybe you'll see one soon. So here's the thing, folks. Rainbows don't just appear out of nowhere. They're actually a bit of a party trick, a science experiment gone viral. You ever notice how they always show up after a storm? That light has to be refracted through water droplets, like little prisms in the air. It's not magic, it's physics. But let's be honest, it's still kind of cool. Kind of like a fairy tale come to life. And here's the kicker: rainbows are always on the opposite side of the sun. So if you're facing the storm, the rainbow's behind you. That's why they say look for the rainbow after the storm. But I'll tell you something else. Sometimes the storm's still in the air. So if you ever see a rainbow that doesn't follow the rules, maybe it's not a rainbow at all. Maybe it's something else entirely. Something that's been waiting to be seen. But let's not get too dramatic, shall we? We're just here to debunk myths and keep the spooky stories flowing. After all, the real magic is in the mystery. You might think a rainbow's just a trick of the light, but have you ever noticed how it shows up in the most ordinary places? Like the edge of your coffee mug or the spray from your garden hose. It's everywhere, you just have to look. Ever seen one in your bathroom mirror? It's like the sky is whispering secrets through the glass. You can almost hear it, just before the water turns into a misty veil. Even your car windshield can catch one, especially after a rainstorm. It's like the world is trying to tell you something just before you pull into the driveway. And let's not forget the breakfast table, your cereal bowl, your toast, even the milk. It's like the universe is showing off, but in the most subtle, everyday way. So maybe the next time you see a rainbow, take a moment. It's not just a pretty trick of the light, it's a reminder that the magic is all around us, even in the mundane. You ever try to make a rainbow? Seems simple, right? Just water and sunlight. But let me tell you, the real world has a way of throwing a wrench in the gears. I tried once, back in the 90s, with a hose and a kid who insisted rainbows were for fairies. We stood there for hours, waiting for the perfect angle, the perfect spray. Turns out, the universe doesn't play by our rules. You can't force a rainbow. You can only wait for the right conditions, and even then, it might not show up at all. So, when you think about it, making a rainbow is like chasing a ghost. You know it's there, you feel it, but it's always just out of reach. And that's the real magic, knowing that some things are just meant to be found, not made. So we're talking about the extreme, the crank to 11 kind of rainbow. You know, the kind that doesn't just shimmer, it glows like a neon sign in a thunderstorm. It's not just rain and sunlight, it's something more. Something that bends the rules of physics and makes the air hum with a low, resonant frequency. But here's the kicker: no one has ever seen this rainbow in the same way. Each person who claims to have seen it describes it differently. Some say it's a bridge, others say it's a gate. And that's when the whispers start. The ones that say the rainbow isn't just light, it's memory. That it's not a thing to be made, but a thing to be remembered. So how do you actually make a rainbow? Maybe the answer isn't in the rain, but in the stories we tell. The ones that linger, the ones that glow. You think you've seen everything, but sometimes the real horror isn't the storm. It's the silence that follows. The rainbow was supposed to be a sign, a miracle, a promise. But when it appeared in the wrong place, it became something else entirely. The rainbow was a warning. A message from something that doesn't understand human words, but knows how to make them feel. So you ask yourself, what happens when the rainbow doesn't end in light, but in a question that never gets answered? You ever notice how the brochure never mentions the part where the rainbow disappears? It's like a magic trick, but the trick's on you. You chase it up the hill, through the mist, past the old logging camps, and then poof, it's gone. Just like that. You think you're chasing something beautiful, but you're just chasing the memory of a thing that never was. Maybe the rainbow's not a place. Maybe it's a warning, or maybe it's just a trick the world plays on us. And that's how you make a rainbow. You don't make it, it makes you. You ever look at a rainbow and think, how in the world did this even happen? It's like magic, but it's not. It's just light and water and a whole lot of science. But how did humans even figure this out? Back in the 17th century, someone decided to take a cup of water and shine a light into it. That's how it started. They saw colors, just like in the sky, but in a glass. It was like looking through a prism, but they didn't know why. It wasn't until someone actually got out of the house and into the world that they realized the rainbow wasn't just a trick of light. It was a natural phenomenon, and it had everything to do with water droplets and angles. They had to measure, to observe, to question. It was like solving a puzzle that had been there all along. And once they figured it out, it changed how people saw the world and how people saw themselves. So the next time you see a rainbow, remember, it's not just beauty. It's a reminder that the world is full of mysteries, and sometimes all it takes is a little light, a little water, and a little curiosity to find the answer. You ever seen a rainbow that didn't end? I mean, really end. Like no arc, no color, just nothing. It's like the sky tried to make one, but forgot the last step. It happened in 1958 in a small town in Ohio. A kid was out playing, and suddenly the sky lit up with this ghostly rainbow. It didn't disappear, it just faded into the clouds. No one could explain it. Some say it was a vision from a dying man. Others think it was a child's wish or a ghost trying to reach someone. But no one knows for sure. And that's the real weird part. So here's the thing, rainbows are made by light and water. But this one, it wasn't made. It was just there, and then it wasn't, like it never existed at all. It's weird, isn't it? That the sky can make something so beautiful and then just stop, like it was never real. But maybe that's the point. What if we didn't just stumble into rainbows, but made them on purpose? What if we didn't just see them, but created them? You ever think about that? Like, what if we were supposed to make rainbows, but we just didn't know how? You ever seen a rainbow made with just water and light? It's like magic. But what if that magic wasn't just natural, but something we were meant to harness? What if we were supposed to play with light and color, but just forgot how? You ever wonder if we were meant to have more than just the rainbow? What if the rainbow was a signal, a message, or maybe just a way to make the world feel a little more magical? I mean, who wouldn't want to make a rainbow? What if we weren't supposed to just see rainbows, but create them? What if we were supposed to play with light and color and make our own magic? Maybe that's what the rainbow was all along, our first spell. You know how sometimes, when you're walking through a forest, the light cuts through the trees just right, and suddenly the whole world sparkles. That's the kind of magic we're talking about here. It's like the world's trying to tell you something, like it's holding a secret in its palm, waiting for you to catch it. And you know what? That's exactly what a rainbow is. It's not some mystical trick of the eye, it's just light bending, just like it bends through water or glass. So when you see a rainbow, you're seeing the universe playing with light, just like it does in a prism or a glass of water. That's the real magic, you see. Not some ghostly whisper, but the world itself making art. You know, the thing is, no one really agrees on how to make a rainbow. Some say it's magic. Others insist it's just light and water. But then again, who are we to decide what's real? Some scientists say it's all about angles and refraction. Others say it's more like a dance between the sun and the water droplets. Either way, it's a beautiful, fleeting thing. And yet, they still can't agree on the rules. It's funny, really. All these smart people, all these theories, and they still can't agree on how to make a rainbow. Maybe that's the point. Maybe it's not about the science. Maybe it's about the wonder. So, if you're ever wondering how to make a rainbow, maybe the answer isn't in the science. Maybe it's in the silence, the light, and the way the world feels just right on a perfect morning. You know how sometimes the simplest things are the hardest to explain? Like how a rainbow isn't just light and water. It's a trick of the mind, a dance between the sun and the rain. It's not magic, it's physics. Imagine the sun, high in the sky, casting beams through clouds. Those beams hit a raindrop, bend, and split into colors. but you don't see all the colors. It's only when they hit your eye at just the right angle that you catch the full arc. You think you've got the rainbow down? You're probably using the wrong kind of water. Rainbows don't come from a garden hose, they come from a storm. You need a whole sky full of rain and a whole sun just right. And don't even think about trying to make one with a prism. You might as well try to grow a rainbow in a greenhouse. It's not about bending light, it's about the perfect angle, the perfect distance, the perfect timing. Beginners always forget the weather. It's not just about the rain and the sun, it's about the angle of the sun, the size of the raindrops, the distance from the observer. You have to be exactly where the light hits the water at the right angle. And if you're still trying to make one in a city, you're doing it wrong. Rainbows don't come from streetlights or sprinklers. They come from the sky, from the storm, from the silence between the thunder and the lightning. So the next time you're trying to make a rainbow, take a step back, look up, wait, and let the sky do the work. You think you've got the whole rainbow thing figured out, don't you? But sometimes, a single detail, like the angle of the sun or the way water sits still, can change everything. It's like the universe is playing a trick on you. You see it, right? The way the light splits into colors, but you don't realize it's not the light itself, but the way the water bends it. It's not magic, it's physics. But sometimes, it feels like magic when you're not looking for it. And that's when you realize some things are just too easy to explain. You look again and it's gone, just like that. It's not the light, it's the way you see it. And sometimes, that's enough to make a rainbow. So maybe the real trick isn't how you make a rainbow, but how you notice it. And sometimes, you don't even need to look. Just wait and let the light do the rest. You ever notice how the number 7 shows up everywhere? In the rainbow, in the days of the week, in the number of deadly sins. But here's the kicker, there are only 6 colors in the rainbow, not 7. So where does that 7th one go? Maybe it's the way we look at it. Like, we add that 7th color in our minds, the one we don't even see. It's like a secret, a whisper that's always been there but never quite spoken aloud. Or maybe it's not about the colors at all. Maybe the rainbow isn't about what you see, but what you feel. A memory, a wish, a longing that just won't let go. And here's the real question. Why do we need 7 to make a rainbow? Maybe the real magic isn't in the number, but in the way it makes us wonder. Because wonder is what keeps the rainbow alive. You ever see a rainbow in the middle of a desert? It's like the sky's trying to trick you. But here's the kicker. This one showed up during a real-life showdown between a man and a coyote. The man was chasing the coyote, thinking it was a threat. But the rainbow? It was like the desert itself was whispering, "You're not the only one who knows how to make a rainbow." The man stood there, staring. No one knows what happened next. But that rainbow, it was more than a trick of light. It was a moment, a memory, a message from the wild. So the next time you see a rainbow, maybe it's not just a sign. Maybe it's a story. Maybe it's a warning, or maybe it's just a rainbow. You ever wonder why rainbows never seem to end? Like, where do they go when they fade? Maybe they're just waiting for the right question to be asked. The question almost nobody thinks to ask is, what if the rainbow isn't a thing at all? What if it's just a trick the sky plays on us, a whisper of light that never actually exists? What if the rainbow is just the sky's way of saying, "I remember you"? A message in light, waiting for someone to finally wonder why it never fades. So next time you see a rainbow, maybe just ask, not what it is, but why it's still here. Because sometimes the answer is hiding in the question. You know, some say the next big thing in rainbow making is light itself. Not just the kind you shine through prisms, but the kind that's already in the air, waiting to be caught. They're talking about something called diffraction gratings, those tiny, precise grooves that split light into colors. It's like magic, but with more math and less glitter. And let's not forget the folks who say the rainbow's just a trick of the eye. That it's not real, but a reflection of our own hopes and dreams. A bit of light, a bit of longing, and voila, rainbow. So what's next? Maybe a rainbow made not by light, but by sound, or by memory, or maybe by something we haven't even imagined yet. The rainbow's always been a mystery, and it always will be. You ever notice how some mysteries just vanish? Like a rainbow, or a ghost, or a woman who disappeared in the 1950s and never left a trace. Sometimes the truth is out there, but it's not coming back. There's a place in Pennsylvania where they say the sky splits open like a curtain, and the light comes through like a stained glass window. But no one's ever seen it. They just remember the feeling, like standing in a church with no one around. And then there are the stories that never quite fit. The ones that don't match the science, or the history, or the people who say they saw something. They're like the last sliver of a rainbow, just out of reach. So maybe the answer isn't in the science, or the folklore, or the ghost stories. Maybe it's in the mystery itself. The thing that lingers, the thing that never fades, like a whisper in the wind, or a color that doesn't belong. Did you know that the word rainbow actually comes from a Norse phrase meaning rain bridge? It's a pretty poetic way to describe the arc of colors that appears after a storm. And here's a fun fact. The colors of the rainbow aren't in the same order in every culture. In some places, the sequence is different, and the colors are named based on their meaning in local folklore. Oh, and if you ever see a rainbow in the early morning or late evening, you're actually seeing the sun's light refracted through the moisture in the air, like a tiny prism, but on a much bigger scale. But here's the kicker. The last time someone actually saw a rainbow in the United States was in 2016, when a rare atmospheric event created an extra-wide arc that stretched across the sky like a painter's brushstroke. So there you have it. Rainbows are as much about wonder as they are about science. Just like the stories we tell, they're a bit of magic in the everyday. So let me recap everything we've uncovered. We started with the science of light, then dove into folklore, myth, and even the art of illusion. And now, we're standing at the edge of the rainbow's mystery, ready to ask the real question. We've traced the rainbow's origins from ancient prayers to modern physics, and along the way, we've heard whispers of spirits, secrets, and the power of light to reveal what's hidden. We've heard stories of rainbows as signs, omens, and even gateways. Sometimes beautiful, sometimes dangerous, and always full of meaning that we're only beginning to understand. And now, as we stand here, asking how you actually make a rainbow, we're reminded that some mysteries are meant to be felt, not solved. Like the quiet hum of a story just beginning. You think you've seen everything, but there's one more fact that'll make you pause. It's not about rainbows, but about the way light bends through water, like a secret whispered through the air. The same light that makes rainbows also bends through the atmosphere, creating mirages in the desert or the shimmering lights on the road at night. It's nature's way of playing tricks on your eyes. So the next time you see a rainbow, remember it's not just a pretty trick of light. It's a reminder of how fragile and beautiful the world is, how light bends through water, and how even the simplest things can hold a universe of wonder. And if you ever feel like the world is too dark, just look for the light bending through the air. Sometimes it's not a rainbow, it's a sign that you're not alone. Well, friends, if you've made it this far, you've probably already seen a rainbow, or maybe you're still trying to figure out how to make one. Either way, I'm just a humble storyteller, and you're the one who made this journey happen. If you're curious about how to make a rainbow, I suggest you go outside, find a sunny spot, and let the rain fall. Nature's got a way of making things happen, even if it does take a little bit of water and patience. Thanks for joining me on this little journey through haunted places, folklore, and the mystery of rainbows. Until next time, stay curious, stay warm, and keep an eye out for the light. Now go make your own rainbow. I'll be here, waiting with more stories, more ghosts, and more questions. Until then, good night and stay spooky.